The Big Dog Postgame Show is brought to you by Viener X Consulting. We make your company work. And by Rick Jacklich, the big dog himself, at the Jacklich Law Group.
Welcome into the Big Dog post-game show. Bruce keeps telling me he called it, Tony. You'll have to verify it. And he might
Well,
have. Terps take down Notre Dame in Atlanta 11-10. Bruce, I'll go to you first.
Tony, what did I say at halftime? Okay.
I don't know if you said 11-10 win, but you said Terps win.
Yeah, I didn't say 11-10, but the only reason it was 11-10 is they won every faceoff, or it would have been 11-3 or 11-5. I mean, they kept getting the ball, and eventually you can't stop Kavanaugh and Jake Taylor and the football player Faison. But listen, McNanny, I talked to Tillman for a long time about who he's going to give number 1 to, and he was hesitant, and then he didn't want to do it. And you got to have a number one. And has Logan risen to the occasion, Tony and Mason? I mean, I thought, Mason, you go because you're a goalie. But that last save was like unreal, a kick save. All right. It was great.
Yeah, when Logan McNaney is on, Tony, he's undoubtedly the best in the country at this point between the pipes. And I mean, credit on that last play to Will Schaller, who just gets a little check in there that changes that shot up from Chris Kavanaugh. And Logan's there, but when he's seeing the ball like he was today, when the defense is feeding him those outside on the run shots, I wouldn't go for anyone else. And what a way for him to kind of come back onto the national scene this year after last year's struggles in the championship game.
Yeah, and I'm glad you started with that too, because that first half of the national title game, I don't know if he had a save,
He did not. He did not.
and and so there was a lot of redemption today for him, and we'd all be insane to also not mention again Will Schaller. I mean, what a game! It's easy to say, well, Logan had a great game, 16 saves, 61%. Look, Notre Dame, 17 turnovers coming into the game. That's something I was talking a lot about. Notre Dame's offensive efficiency coming in was at 48%. Terps held them to 26% efficiency today. But it's the Notre Dame turnovers. They were wiping Maryland out at the face-off X. What, they won 16-24 or something like that? Wiped him out, but they gave him back. And you'd love to say, man, McNaney makes all the saves, except he doesn't. Will Schaller makes an unbelievable diving save on an empty net, that Notre Dame's looking to really change momentum. The very next sequence, Notre Dame wins the run out. They get a possession. Schaller forces the turnover. AJ Larkin, phenomenal game, picks up a really tough ground ball. Mason, I know you caught that too. He gets upfield, pass down to Kelly, goal. 2-goal swing. That was the game.
Yeah, Kelly, Mason and myself were talking before you got on, Tony, that Kelly, 3 shots, 3 goals. I don't know what else you could say. And Spanos had 2 goals and
Three
two
and three and one. 3-1 for Spanos. Yeah.
3-1 for Spanos. And Erkson, them turnovers, man. I tell you, I don't know what to say, but they won, and that's all that matters. And I thought that, wow, that play by Aiden Aiken that was a second too late was unreal. But here's the bottom line. You're playing the undefeated two-time defending champions today, all right, who have all the confidence and bluster in the world, but no team can easily survive the loss of a Tewaaraton winner and maybe the best goalie in the last decade. Okay. And that's what, at the end of the day, that super depth that they've had with Pat Kavanaugh being out there was mitigated by the depth that Chris Kavanaugh has. And I couldn't believe he ran it with 4 goals. I was so transfixed on the game. I forgot he scored 3 in the fourth. But uh, I don't know what to say except that the Terps are 5-0 with a schedule that is just unreal. It looks to me, I don't know how you could not have Terps, Hopkins, and Carolina 1, 2, 3. Okay, no doubt about it. Probably Carolina too. But of course, they got to beat Princeton tomorrow, which is not going to be easy. Princeton took down Duke. All right, and we'll see. But
So Terp fans, if your family's injured in a car crash, you'd be barking mad not to call Rick and the Big Dogs at the Jacklich Law Group at 855 Big Dog won.
But as you know, Coach, it's not the last win, it's the next win that's so important. And that's why we continue to hustle, continue to work so hard for all of our clients to earn that name, the big dogs from the small firm. Just like you do. You get your guys hustling all the time.
That's why we love you, Rick.
And most of all,
Go Terps!
Let me tell you something, okay? Maybe Notre Dame needed that loss. You know what I mean? Maybe they need it. Maybe, we'll come back and think about it, because the one that really matters is the end of the year. But this win now gives you, well, it's not that way anymore, 3 top 5 wins, although 2 of them have been mitigated. But I don't know what to say. Tills is like, he's a Zen master. Was there any other way to put it, Tony?
No, and Bruce did text me, before the game. We were going back and forth, and it's like, how you feeling about the game? And Bruce was like, you gave John Tillman 7 days to prepare. You were right, Bruce. Um, it is an impressive thing to watch, and I do hope that, look, we as Maryland fans, of course, we all love and appreciate Tills, but if you're a fan of lacrosse, if you're a fan of athletics, if sometimes you don't stop and really just sit back and really appreciate what John Tillman has done in, the 14 or 15 seasons he's been in College Park, it's just amazing to watch him consistently do what he does. He's losing assistant coaches to head coaching jobs every year. He's always been the early adapter to figure out new ways to push the game forward. He really is one of the best coaches. Forget about sport, what sport you're talking about. He is one of the best coaches that you will see in this country.
Hey, Jack McDonald and AJ Larkin. Can we call them the best 1-2 punch in long stick middies? I mean, they sure look like it. All
Mace,
right.
what do you think, Mace?
I mean, AJ Larkin is just a weapon. There's nothing else you can say about it. McDonald's right there with him, but if you look at the way they shadowed today and played as a team defense, and Clark kept saying, they're packing it in, they're packing it in, they're packing it in. But if you look at their on-ball defense from Larkin and from McDonald out there, and they're playing against Faison, they're playing against Taylor. These guys are the best first-team All-American midfielders that are out there that are huge parts of Notre Dame's back-to-back national championships. But the way Maryland was able to mirror off of them, hedge their slide, and then recover. And look, if there's anything to clean up for the Terps defense, you can't leave a guy on the front doorstep on a redodge offense feeding the inside. But I just thought it was magnificent the way those 2 guys played. The short stick defensive midfield for Maryland. At times last year it was looking a little shaky. Then it came on strong and put together that run all the way to the championship game. But this year, Stamos is clearly one of the best guys playing in that. And when Tills has those weapons on the defensive end that can play in transition, that can get out and run, that's Maryland's recipe for winning on Memorial Day. Forget getting about it. I think we can almost say we're going to be there, regardless of who's playing on the field. But for winning on Memorial Day, the short stick defensive midfielder and the long stick defense is just it's fantastic. And having to replace a guy like Ajax and looking down, seeing Burlace and Schaller in the way they're playing. And you saw another guy, and I mean, you have to give him a shout out, Tony. Sean Light is one hell of a player for Notre Dame. I mean, he is a true shutdown in college lacrosse. But if you look at what the Terps have right now, their team defense, just like their team offense, is undoubtedly at playing the best out of any group in the country.
Yeah, Mason, I do want to echo your comments there, man. I mean, look, we can all appreciate, we are all lacrosse fans, and how can you not appreciate how Notre Dame plays? I mean, that Chris Kavanaugh goal. I mean, he literally put on a Superman cape. I mean, I don't know if we'll see goals like that again. And Sean Light, guy's a sophomore and just really a lockdown defender. I do want to talk a little about Maryland's depth. Those short stick defenders that you just mentioned, Mason, totally spot on. I've been so impressed with them the whole season. Zach Gorno today had a key. They credit it to Kevin Tucker in the books, but it was actually Zach Gorno off of Notre Dame's 16th turnover, their third offside turnover of the game. Maryland gets that transition goal kind of in the half field almost where Gorno gets the ball out in the alley. He sees Urksa cutting across the crease. But, Jordy Holmes had some great plays. Eric Kohler has just been really, really good. And, Thomas Gravino took that late hit penalty. It was a penalty, although I do think Notre Dame got a little good whistle on a couple things. But Gravino's in there. They're running 5 shorties deep. They're playing super well. Last thing I want to say about this, Will Schaller came into College Park out of the Hill School in Pennsylvania as an LSM, All American High School LSM. They move him down to close. AJ Larkin comes out of Loyola Blakefield in Baltimore as a close defender. They move him up to LSM. The ability to identify that talent and those skills and move those players around and develop them. Hats off to Jesse Bernhardt and Tillman for doing that.
Yeah,
Tony, one
well,
thing on the late hit call. Could you see a call go more one-sided than the no call on the late hit on the Notre Dame goalie? I mean, having
Crazy.
played this game when the rules were even more so, I guess, the old rough style of lacrosse, if you want to call it that, I can't tell you the amount of penalties that me and my teammates got for that exact same hit.
Yeah. It was
Every
late. It
time,
was
it's
late.
automatic. I
It was
mean, to
late and it
call
was
that a
high.
push, it's not a push.
Yeah.
Don't
It
but you
was
know
call it
what?
or call it what it is.
right.
You know,
Just because it's on the goalie does not mean it's not the same penalty you just called.
Daniel
Yeah.
Kelly's third goal, he got hit afterwards, no
He did.
whistle.
Yeah.
No whistle. It was almost the exact same thing. I forgot who it was who got hit and then scored and fell into the. We did not get the advantage of the calls today, but that's not what dictated the game. It's amazing. I don't know what the final face-off numbers were.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was a washout, Bruce. I mean, you're talking. Oh no, Notre Dame cleared they cleared their stat broadcast. I think they were 16 and 24, Bruce.
Yeah, Notre
Well,
Dame 18 of 24.
Oh,
well,
18 and 24. Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
glad we got 6, but it shows you can win it. Look, last year, I'm pretty sure that Luke Werman won 17 of 24 and we lost 15-5.
Right.
It has to do with your defense. And our defense, our close defense, and making the guys shoot long against McNatty. He's tough to score on, man. He really is. I mean, from a distance, and he's been spectacular coming back from the second year. And when all is said and done, the key move this year was giving him number one. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise. He's run the mantle well, and he is the number one. And I'm not, you always talk about Tony, they got to get the alpha male to score, give him the number one. When there's a guy on defense who stands out like he does, you know, but got to give props to Spanos. When Spanos plays well, he really plays good. And
For as much as he has the ball too, that's the other thing. He only had 1 turnover today.
yeah,
Urksa had 5, and I know we all talk about, there has to be some cleanup happening, right? Like you can't keep having one guy turning the ball over 5 times. Um, but for as much as Spanos carries the ball, as much as the offense is running through him, he's so good with it. He takes such care of it. His assist today, dodging down the alley, throwing back across his body, skipping through a Notre Dame defense to the far side of the restraining box to Bryce Ford. That's Connor Kelly-esque.
yeah.
We used to see Connor Kelly doing those kinds of things. Just phenomenal, phenomenal.
Tony, what are the Notre Dame guys going to say who've been coming on the Maryland site?
Oh, I can tell you, it,
What's going to be their reasoning?
at halftime, I had the stats in front of me. At halftime, I think Maryland had 10 or 11 shots, 9 of them on goal. Notre Dame had 22 or 23 shots, only 10 on goal. Notre Dame did not shoot well. They put 43 shots up today, only 27 on goal, and the 17 turnovers. They're going to say they had a bad shooting day. They're going to say McNaney robbed. McNaney is a great goalie. He robbed some. He did 3 one-on-one saves today. They're going to say that. And they're going to say Notre Dame just didn't shoot well. They just didn't shoot
Hey,
well. They really
Yeah,
didn't.
and they're going to say that Notre Dame dominated the ground ball game. I mean, I think it's 37-19, the final tally there.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's because of
there's a lot to point to.
that's because of that 16 number advantage on the faceoffs. I mean, you always dominated. Listen, here's the bottom line: Maryland 11, Notre Dame 10. We're 5-0. We're number one now. Okay, and we move on. But like we all know, this is probably part one. Okay, this is the first one, and we're going to see him again. And my last question for both of you: if Tillman has been in 8 national title games, if he had a week to prepare for all 8 of them, what would his record be, Tony?
8-0.
Maybe. I don't think
Bruce,
so, but
you just beat the number one team in the country on a last second save, and we're talking about championship game records. I mean, that just shows you where your head's at. Your head's at Memorial Day and seeing these guys again.
well, listen, I'm more worried. I tell you the truth, I'm more worried about playing Michigan and Ohio State and Johns Hopkins. They're going to be our real tough games. I could sit here and tell you to go undefeated in the Big Ten this year, I would say is almost a virtual impossibility. Tony, what do you
Yeah,
say?
and I agree. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's easier to make wholesale changes after a loss, right?
Right.
We have not seen we've not seen all that Maryland can do lineup wise.
Oh, we haven't seen anything
Right.
yet.
I'm going to make a prediction here that once we get into Big Ten play, we are going to see Urksa running through the box. We are going to see Fort or Matthew Keegan down at attack. We are going to see those types of change-ups. Why put it on tape now? Why give teams an opportunity? Once we get into Big Ten play, you know, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah, always is, always will be. Great win. I'm feeling real good. And Maryland men's basketball team won. That wasn't so great, but they did win, and that's all that matters. It took the cold-hearted shooter Rodney Rice to put the game away on a great little 15-footer from halfway to the corner, and a great game by Derek Queen in the second half. Well, listen, they're 12-6. At one point, they were 1-3. Think about that. And the losses, I don't know if you didn't see it, Tony, because you haven't watched it yet. They showed all of Maryland's losses, and it's unbelievable.
The three buzzer beaters.
It's unbelievable where they could be. But I'm in a good mood tonight. Nothing's going to get me upset tonight. All right, because it was a great win. I feel great for Tills. Feel great for DK. He was great. 3 goals, 3 shots. The whole team's got to feel great tonight. And poor Notre Dame. I'll wait for the excuses. All right. The excuses are coming.
Well, the big joke, I'm
So,
sure, is whether or not Corrigan went to the press conference. That's always the joke is that after losses, he doesn't like talking to the media.
Hey, he's going. He's definitely going to go. Okay. Tillman couldn't have been any more gracious the last 2 years, but so be it. All right.
Yeah.
It's our day to shine, and that's the bottom line. Carcaterra hit it pretty good. I don't know if you saw that, Tony. He said, "Look, Notre Dame's got 9 All-Americans.
Maryland, the only one.
Maryland's got 1, and you think this game's got to belong to Notre Dame? No, sir.
Let me
No,
say one thing too about that, and I know we're gonna go here, Mace. Um, I'm really, I'm a big Paul Carcaterra fan. I really like him. He
right,
knows a lot. He knows a lot, and I wish they'd let him do more of his analyst work. He's really good. He's a real good guy too. I am so happy that he talked a lot about it. One thing, you'll hear a lot of analysts and announcers say Maryland plays slow, Maryland plays slow. Now we know that that's not true because we watch Maryland. We do more than just look at the box scores.
right,
I love the fact that he kept talking about how good Maryland is in transition and how Maryland can play fast and play slow because he's right. He's right. And it was nice to hear, a national analyst talk about the fact that, look, Maryland can run. They're gonna run. You give them a chance, they're gonna make you pay. Teams just don't want Maryland to run, is
right.
a lot of what happens.
Base, it's all yours, brother.
all right. Well, I'll wrap it up with that. Well, I'll throw out a final thought here, which
Yeah.
is 9 All-Americans, 1 All-American. Doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is the final score, and the only thing that matters is who's holding the trophy on Memorial Day, and that's what this program's about. So, Brucey, you taught me well. Can't get too high on being number one 5 games in. It's all about what happens on Memorial Day. We'll be back in College Park when the Terps take on Delaware next week. Subscribe to us here on the channel, and thank you for watching.